All right, all the lookers out there, we are back. Your boy Yo Soy AC Weezy, the man goddamn T Hayes. T, as you can tell, I got a new little setup going on. I made it out to the West Coast. You might have to start calling me West Coast Weezy, right? Out in California. But anyways, all settled in. Got the new setup. Feeling good. No Look Podcast, we're back,
Looking
baby.
good.
Oh,
Feeling good, looking
you
good.
know.
West Coast Wheezy, first time tuning in from the West Coast. What was your favorite thing? All right, two-parter.
Yep.
What was your favorite sight to see on your way from New York to California?
Definitely not the 18 wheelers. If I never see another 18 wheeler again, it could not be soon enough. But Wyoming was definitely very beautiful, scenic. Didn't get to see the Yellowstone, but I saw the Tetons, the mountains, if you will. You know, the ones that Kanye had on his album cover. That was pretty cool. Other than that, Utah was pretty nice. Tyler was texting me like, "Hey man, Utah is gonna be nice to drive through." I was like, "Yeah, it's all right." And then as soon as I got into, it was like University Drive where BYU was. You could just see like you're going down this main strip, Broad Street, pretty busy. Mountains in the background. They had the BYU football stadium was like right set into the mountains, which is super dope. So that was pretty cool. But yeah,
Did you
just
see any Mormons when you were in Utah?
um, I mean, they probably all
Probably.
were. I mean, anytime you're in Utah, you're gonna see a Mormon most likely. But didn't really pick them out. I was trying to, of course, stay eyes on the road, stay focused on that. But yeah, it was
Uh,
cool, man.
last question. What did your legs feel like when you got out of your car in California?
They kind of felt like those
Legs
rubber.
slash body.
They kind of felt like those rubber pencils we used to get back in the day at the book fair. Just like they wanted to be firm, but they're all wobbly. The worst part, because I kind of stretched my legs out a little bit. You know, 5'10" and a quarter. I shrunk another half inch, anyways. But 5'10" and a quarter, I could stretch my legs out. I had my seat back all the way, but my back, man, I had the lumbar up all the way, but it was still just like felt like Grandpa Jenkins or whoever you want to call it. Just my back was like about to snap off.
Well, let's get into it. Speaking of New York, from AC leaving NY,
Hmm.
his New York Knicks are on a 9-game winning streak as of late. Um, I think this is the first time that they've been on a winning streak like this since Melo, most likely. But have you been keeping up with your team?
I've been keeping up with the Knicks. Yep. Bleacher Report definitely helps with that for the games I don't catch live. I mean, Julius Randle is on a tear. Reggie Bullock. I mean, this guy looks like he's playing back in Chapel Hill. He's hitting everything. Nerlens Noel has been protecting the rim like Dikembe Mutombo, just blocking everything that comes his way. But also, Tyler, to point out, I am close to Las Vegas now. So not just have they won 9 games in a row, but they've also covered 12 games in a row. For the bettors out
Ooh.
there, Knicks have been a lock as of late. Fun basketball, man. I mean, with Julius Randle being your main guy, and not too many like studs, if you will. Not like the Subway Series partners over there in Brooklyn, where they got to sign every guy on the All Star team from the past 5 years. But no shade to the Nets as well. They've been playing good ball. I mean, you and I were just talking about it pre-show a little bit. They haven't been at their full capacity yet, right? I mean, just
No.
got KD back. What's the latest on James Harden? Is he gonna be suiting up soon?
I mean, hopefully. I mean, if we're taking little daggers, I'm gonna say, well, we swept the Knicks. Don't forget about that. I'm pretty sure the Nets said, "Oh, I hope you got your cars out of the street because the sweepers coming through." New York City, because that is exactly what happened. But yeah, the Nets haven't been at full capacity. Unfortunately, of course, losing LaMarcus Aldridge. I don't think we got to touch on that since the last episode, but.
Hmm.
They're playing well. They got a nice 4 games coming up. One being in Tampa tomorrow against the Raptors. You may see me there, maybe not. But
What are the tickets looking like?
expensive. I think the one thing that's cool is like seeing the Knicks be good again.
Hmm.
It's good for basketball when you see teams like the Knicks, you know, progress and do well. Where it's like kind of like that old school basketball, like the NBA when it first started.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Knicks playing in MSG, they're a very big market team. And, you hear all these guys, most recently Zion Williams. He's like, oh, MSG could potentially be my favorite place to play other than New Orleans. He kind of saved himself there. But yeah, when the Knicks are good, they're kind of one of those staple teams: Knicks, Lakers, Celtics, those main historic teams, I guess. But it's good for the NBA. It's fun to watch.
I mean, right now they're in fourth. Nets are in first. So, I mean, the No Look podcast is holding it down in the East.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Knicks were in the West, they might be fighting for eighth or ninth, but that's neither here nor there.
No. Until they adopt our idea, Tyler, of just not worrying about what conference they're in, taking the top
The 16 best.
16 best teams. So
Well, I was looking at the standings today, and the Warriors are in 10th. So technically, they're in the playoff race, which is kind of scary, which we'll probably get into like when we get closer to the playoffs. But I was looking at him like, I would hate to face Steph Curry in the first round in like a knockout game.
I mean,
Be
Curry's
like
on.
old school Davidson days.
Yeah, right. I mean, you said that you get one of those 10 seed teams that kind of come in, they get an extra game to play. They're playing good ball. I mean, Curry's on a tear. I think he's hit like
83
80,
threes
yeah, 80
last-
something.
He just beat James Harden's record, and there's still 4 days left in April.
I mean, that's just insane. Obviously, they'd be a different team all around if they had Klay Thompson. But, I mean, Wiseman's playing well. I think Oubre's starting to figure out his shot. If he hasn't already, he started off like, 5 for 50 at the beginning of the season.
I mean, that's another thing, Steph Curry coming back being, dominant like he has been. I feel like the league's been missing him the past 2 years for sure. But I have some beef. I need to get into a Tyler's 2 minutes. It's been a minute since I've done it. But Jalen Rose last night, Big Tim was texting me. He was at the bar watching the Nets game before his horse raced in the Poconos. And he's like, I don't know if you saw, man, but Jalen Rose is talking that shit. And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, Jalen Rose says he's taking the field against the Nets.
Oh.
So any team in the NBA, he's saying, is going to beat the Nets or win the finals over the Nets. So, I mean, this is a guy that cheated to win at Michigan. This is a guy that allowed one person to score 81 points on him. And this is a guy that wears bug-eye glasses like Mars. What was his name? From Jordan?
Yeah, Mars. Spike Lee portrayed him, yeah.
Yeah. He's got these rec specs on. He's looking. He thinks he's all fly. He's a Michigan boy. All black Nikes, all black socks. Jalen Rose, you ain't know shit about basketball. The only reason why you're relevant is because your wife is hot and she works on ESPN and she headlines First Take with Stephen A. and Max Kellerman. You ain't shit.
That's his wife?
That's his wife, Molly Kieran Rose.
Oh.
She's bad.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I might have to shake his hand just for that reason. But if you got beef with Tyler, you got beef with me because it's one half of the No Look podcast. Then it's the other. Okay, anyways, yeah. But, Tyler.
Jalen Rose.
Yeah, that's where he was going with that. I'm not sure if we're still on the NBA topic or not, but do you think, I mean, we're seeing a lot of injuries. I wouldn't count KD because he's always hurt, but Klay Thompson, James Harden, a bunch of other guys. Do you think the short turnaround from this last, bubbles season is hurting the guys in the league?
I actually don't think it's hurting them as much as I expected it to. I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was. But what I'm seeing is that a lot of coaches are taking that, approach of resting guys a lot. Yeah, you got guys like James Harden, LeBron James, Anthony Davis that are injured. LaMelo Ball just came back. I mean, he's coming back from his injury. They thought he was out for the
superhuman.
Season,
they thought he was going to be out for the rest of the season. It's like less than a month.
Granted, he didn't play in last year's bubble, but
yeah.
I do think that they're resting more than they typically would just because of the shortened season. So kudos to the coaches and the training staff for thinking of something like that. But, it does get frustrating at times because as a Nets fan, I want to see James Harden, KD, Kyrie, Blake Griffin, and when LaMarcus Aldridge was there, play all together. And you haven't seen that yet. So it's kind of like I'm nervous because, I know they're good, but where's the chemistry gonna be is the biggest part.
Yeah, and okay, so going back, can you really be that mad at him though? Like, yeah, technically it's a shot. Talking about Jalen Rose, technically a shot at the Nets, but like the odds of every other team versus just one team, yeah, they could be the favorites right now. But how can you be mad at someone like?
I think
You
Jalen
telling
just
me?
always
You
has a
telling
chip on his
me?
shoulder, so he's gonna say what everybody else is saying. Everybody thinks the Nets are the best team. Obviously, he's gonna say the opposite.
Yeah, okay, but Tyler, honest answer, honest opinion. Gun to your head, you had to pick the Nets or every other team to win this year's NBA championship. You're choosing the Nets?
Gun to my head, I would pick the Nets, 100%,
Ah, man, I mean, like,
100%.
they're definitely the favorite, like I said, but you still got the Lakers, you still got the Clippers, you got, I mean, the Bucks out
The only
there.
team that I would be nervous to play this year right now would be Utah. I honestly don't even. I'm not even that afraid of the Lakers, if I'm being completely honest.
Hmm.
And we just beat the Suns kind of handily, not handily, but we beat them. But the Jazz, they're kind of scary, man. I look at them and I'm nervous.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing good ball right now. With that being said, anyone who thinks LeBron is actually injured right now is just complete airheaded and oblivious
So what you're
because
saying is he's faking like he's
oh
injured?
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, all you've heard from this guy is getting better. I never want to take time off. That's his whole persona.
I have
Like,
a, I have a
stays.
conspiracy theory then.
Yeah. What's up?
They messed up Space Jam 2 finishing touches, so they were like, LeBron will pay you an extra 50 million to get back into the stew. Finish these last few cameos that you got in Space Jam 2. All you have to do is just fake an injury.
I don't even think it's that extensive, but I mean that's definitely plausible as well. I just think you always see LeBron saying, "Man, I don't, I'm not a fan of being rested or what have you. I want to be out there for my guys night in, night out." So he's not gonna, say, "Oh, I'm sitting this game." But if he's hurt, he doesn't have a choice but to sit, right? So I don't really think he's that injured, quote unquote. But he's gonna come back in the playoffs and just be a menace for sure.
I mean, yeah, but he also needs Anthony Davis. At this stage in his career, I don't think he can do it all by himself.
Well, no shit. That's why they got AD, but also Andre Drummond, fucking Dennis Schroeder.
The other AD, they got AD squared.
Yeah, they got both these AD guys. I mean, they're doing right now. Drummond and Anthony Davis are doing what DeMarcus Cousins and Davis should have been doing.
Yeah, but Boogie's got a slower step and probably can't jump as high to get rebounds.
A much weaker MCL,
Yes.
ACL. Yeah.
So do you want to get into talking baseball? It's been a while since we did that.
Yeah, been a while. So I mean, what we were gonna elongate our talking baseball this time?
Why? We'll make it short and sweet. The Yankees are in last place in the AL East, and that was talking baseball.
That was talking baseball. You got your quick and easy update. It's like the best man speech at a wedding. That's what it should be like. Quick and
Yeah.
informative.
I mean, I think it's their first time since like 2004, 2003. They actually just brought up some AA guy or AAA guy that's supposed to be the next best pitcher. So who knows? We'll see. It's a long season though.
It's a long season. Their
Only
bullpen.
23 games in.
Yeah, I mean their bullpen definitely isn't the best. I think Luke Voigt is about to come back from an injury. He should provide some energy at least in the batting department. So we'll see what happens. But long season for baseball.
Well, speaking of baseball too, MLB The Show just came out. I've been grinding that shit like crazy.
Yeah, I've been playing that too. Honestly, it's pretty fun. I haven't dabbled into the what is it? The DT
Road to the Show.
RTTS or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty fun. It's kind of you got to grind at it for sure. Takes a
Yeah,
while.
I don't know if I'm gonna grind. I mean, I beat Brendan in my second game playing, and then I beat Brian and Dan 3 times in a row in a home run derby. So your boy Yosoi's definitely getting the hang of it. But
Oh, here we go.
listen.
Anyways, before we get his head any bigger than it could be at MLB The Show. Speaking of big heads, Usman fielded the UFC main event against Jorge Masvidal in
Hmm.
their second fight. I will say I was picking Usman big time. I knew he was gonna win, but the only way that I thought that Masvidal was gonna win is if they botched it
Hmm.
and made a trilogy fight out of it.
Right.
Like UFC rigged it. They were like, let's Usman go down with a knockout or some shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was a weird fight to me because Masvidal coming off a loss in his previous fight as well. So the fact that he's still the number one contender, that didn't really make a lot of sense.
Technically he was the fourth, but they just wanted to put him in the second fight.
right. Well, I mean, now they're probably saying, I wish we didn't do that because, yeah, a lot of people coming in, he was definitely a bettor's favorite. He had some not so chill odds, if you will. And he's one of those guys, Tyler, definitely a stand up type of fighter. If he hits you with a clean shot, it can go either way. Whereas in contrast, Usman is definitely more of a ground and pound, submission type guy. So it was definitely interesting for the result. Obviously, Usman hit Masvidal with a knockout. But with that being said, there was a bunch of other good fights. Tyler, did you catch the other fights on the card?
Yeah, I mean, I saw 11 all grown up beat
11.
Washi Zhang or whatever the fuck her name is. That kick was ferocious. And I was thinking when I was watching the
But you're,
fight,
you're talking about Thug Rose, who hit
Doug Rose,
Zane
yeah,
with the kick, yeah.
that's my girl. I love her. She's probably the same build as me, honestly. And if I shaved my head, she'd probably look like my twin sister or something like that. But I was thinking when I was watching that, if there's any way that I wouldn't want to be knocked out, it would be by a kick to the face.
I know, and I guess I was talking to UFC expert, and they were talking to me saying that this was a question mark kick, where I don't know if you're familiar with that, Tyler, the term. I wasn't either.
Oh,
But I
like the type
guess,
of kick it was?
yeah, I guess a question mark kick for UFC terminology, you don't know if it's going to be a body kick or a head kick. So Rose definitely did a good job with the left foot too, disguising the final placement of that kick. You saw Zhang, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, kind of looked like she was thinking, expecting it to be a body kick, dropped the hands, caught her clean in the chin, the knockout spot. And yeah, that was a good fight. A couple other decent fights, Tyler, but kind of gruesome, if you will. A lot of leg injuries. I mean, nothing, nothing to say more than that. One nasty, the other one extremely nasty. Anytime you get something happened like that a few years ago, same type deal. Go for a thigh kick, guy comes up with his shin to block it, shin on shin at that force. I mean, Tyler, we don't have
Your
to be
shit's looking like Gumby.
we don't have to be scientists to know what happens from that. But the worst part too, when they showed it in replay and he goes to step on it, oh man.
You're looking like a newborn deer.
Yeah, right. Except you just don't have your foot connected to the rest of your leg. Oh, that
Yeah.
was nasty. And then the other guy earlier in the
You know what's crazy is how the body, heals itself from that.
oh
Like
yeah.
honestly, if my shin was disconnected from my lower extremity of my ankle, just saw it off. It ain't coming back.
I know, it's just so weird to think about. Like the same type like Paul George saying, and now he's having himself a crazy year after his whole leg was dislocated. I mean, Kevin Ware, I don't know, that kind of hits home for me just because it's just so graphic. I could feel it. It's one of those injuries that you look at it happen and you could feel it on your body. I don't know. But other than that, what was your favorite fight of the night?
Well, my favorite fight of the night had to be Usman Masvidal. I was super hyped about it. I was glad that Usman won. He's just showing his prowess in what is it, lightweight division. And
Yeah.
he's just a beast. Guy is unstoppable. It seems like comes out dominant, and then McGregor comes out and tweets that he's stealing his moves, he's stealing his punches, and then Usman claps back. Well, the difference is I'm knocking him down in 170. So, I mean, could we be setting up for an Usman McGregor? I mean, McGregor knows what he's doing. He's going
Oh,
after
he's trying to stay
money.
relevant.
Yeah, going after the money, trying to get the big fights. But I mean, let's be honest. If I was McGregor, I would want nothing to do with this guy. He's got veins popping out of muscles I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like a freaking mannequin, dude. He's got muscles on his muscles, veins on his veins. I wouldn't last, more than 5 seconds in the octagon with that guy.
Let me ask you a hypothetical question. Would you, since we're on the UFC topic,
Yep.
prime Chuck Liddell? Would you let? Do you think? All
What
right,
kind of a question is this?
you have to last 30 seconds in the ring with Chuck Liddell. If you win, you get $10 million for every year for the rest of your life. Would you do it? But you have to last 30 seconds.
Like, what do you constitute as a win? Just not dying before 30 seconds?
Just not getting knocked out, choked out.
I mean, I feel like if I did some agility drills, the ladder, the box jumps, I might be able to run away from him for 30 seconds.
Just not die.
Yeah, I'd take that. I mean, shit. That's worth the risk for me.
I guess it's like, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. I'd probably just pull like the card, like, oh, look, what's that behind you? Just run away. Fucking jump out of the ring. He's chasing me through the whole stadium. Nah.
See, in my mind, what I'm thinking is I'm like running through his legs, or I punch him in the dick and he falls. But in reality, I would like take one step and then, bam, right hook.
No, I probably wouldn't go how I'm envisioning it.
Off of my face.
It's like in the movies, the slow mo. You just see the teeth flying out.
It's like a Mortal Kombat slow mo where your jaw just completely displaces from the mandible part of it.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I don't know. $10 million. That's a lot of cash right there. That's a lot of zen. I definitely try my best out there.
Yeah. Well. Might as well get into it.
You know why we're all here.
We the No Look podcast can't get away from football. We know it. You know it. Everybody at home knows it. Even the NFL knows it. That's why we're their biggest sponsor. Obviously, the number one football podcast on Insane Games on Twitch TV.
Yep.
But mock draft, Austin, I know you got it pulled up. The draft coming up on the 29th through the 1st. Are you excited?
I'm excited. I'm definitely a little scarred from last year. Just the way the Packers drafted.
Scarred. If anybody should be talking about scarred, it should be me. The early 2000s, the 2000s through the 2010s were not a good year of drafting for the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of expected though. We got Fruk in here. Not sure how to pronounce the whole name. Go Pack Go. Hell yes. Go Pack Go. That's right. I mean, I've seen, Tyler, I've probably looking up today, I looked at 5 different mock drafts, and they had the Packers taking 5 different people in every single one.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to share the screen with the viewers at home. Just got a little CBS Mock Draft pulled up. So do we want to go through kind of in depth and like break down? Do we want to give a letter grade rating for these picks?
I think letter grade, we don't really need to break it down unless we feel need to. I definitely want to go over the Raiders one. Obviously, you can go over the Packers one. And then we could probably come up with what our favorite pick of the whole draft, best and worst. Yeah.
I mean, starting off, first overall pick, Trevor Lawrence going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, you knew it last season. You knew it yesterday. We all knew this was happening.
We even knew it back in 2000 when he was born, when Jacksonville had Mark Brunell at quarterback.
Right. I mean, this stuff has been in the works for decades, if you will. No, but anyways, like they say, the writer here, least surprising pick of the 2021 NFL draft. So, I mean, that's the type of thing, like we talked about in previous shows, Tyler. Do you think? I mean, you kind of know my answer, right? I'm thinking about how I want to word this. Do you think that Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer are the next Tom Brady and Bill Belichick?
Absolutely not.
What? You don't think so?
No, definitely not. I don't. Well, first off, I hate Urban Meyer. I don't even think he's that good of a coach. Second off, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to get absolutely no help for the first like 3 years of his career. So
I mean, they got a semi-decent defense. I mean, they lost some guys last year, but newfound running back in James Robinson. They got DJ Chark, Marquise Lee, a bunch of weapons. Obviously, he's not going to step in this season and be great, but at the same time, neither did Brady his first year. I'm just saying, I feel like these two have a lot of potential to do great things. And,
maybe I think there's actually some other coaches out there that would fit Trevor Lawrence a lot better than Urban Meyer.
Like who?
I mean, Shanahan for one, Cliff Kingsbury even. Yeah,
but like Urban Meyer is. I know I did it on purpose. But Urban Meyer is kind of like the guy that opened the door for those other guys. He's kind of. What?
I think the best quarterback or the coach for Trevor Lawrence is actually Bill Belichick. I think he would be the absolute, because Bill Belichick plays to the quarterback's strengths, where a lot of these coaches, what they do is you're my quarterback, you have to run my offense and yada, yada, yada. Where I think, Bill Belichick could, make Trevor Lawrence Tom Brady if he wanted to.
I don't know. He might have to cut his hair. I don't think long-haired quarterbacks usually fare too well in the NFL. But that's neither here nor there. The second pick, Tyler, the Jets looking like they're going to take Zach Wilson. Do you like this pick after they just, dumped Sam Darnold, their last first-round pick?
See, I think the second best quarterback in this draft is actually Justin Fields. Personally, I just like his play style a lot better than Zach Wilson. Also, Zach Wilson, like we said before, only playing one game this past year.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it. It's not what I think their best pick would be, but
I feel like you could be right in your statement as Justin Fields being better. It just depends on who the Jets take. Because if they take Zach Wilson, Justin Fields is going to be better. If they take Justin Fields, Zach Wilson's going to be better. Because the Jets are like Medusa. Anybody they touch, they turn to stone, and the career is over. I mean, what was the last? Jamal Adams is the last Jets draft prospect that's been decent in the NFL, and of course he's on a different team now.
Yeah. I mean, Sam Darnold technically wasn't that bad coming out of USC, to be fair.
Yeah, he's not too bad, but I don't know.
Now, if the Jets do take Zach Wilson, I think Justin Fields will prosper at this pick right here. Now, they were saying that the Falcons were going to trade up to get Justin Fields, a lot of reports said. But without trading Julio Jones, I don't think that's going to happen.
So what are you saying? If they don't trade Julio for this pick, you don't think they move up? Or just in general?
I don't think the Falcons are going to trade Julio Jones. I mean, I read today via Adam Schefter, anytime after June 1st, they save $15 million on their cap. I highly doubt that they would try and move him this early. They need all the cap space they could get. They have a lot of high-name guys they have to re-sign and probably go after in free agency. So I think Justin Fields is a great pick for the 49ers. And then, Kyle Pitts would then be that next best player for the Falcons because they don't need a quarterback.
I mean, what do you think the Falcons' mindset are? Obviously, I didn't even read into it. I'm not sure if this is a cap space deal, if Julio wants out of Atlanta or what. But, I mean, they're definitely in a rebuilding phase. Why are they still saying we're going to go ahead with Matt Ryan as our quarterback? Like that, for me, Julio has more in his tank than Matt Ryan does.
Because I think like the longevity of quarterbacks in this league, especially as of late, has shown that a guy like Matt Ryan, could stay around for another 5 years if they wanted to. And maybe what I'm seeing here is if they're not going to go after Justin Fields, they don't see another quarterback worth that fourth pick to go after.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if they don't move up into this third pick, I don't think they should go quarterback. With that being said, I'm not sure where they have him on this draft, but there's been reports that some people are viewing Mac Jones even above Justin Fields and Zach Wilson. which I
which is
think
absolutely egregious and
I
disgusting.
think that's
to even think
crazy.
about.
I mean,
Obviously, those people are, writers of the SEC,
right.
conference football, Tribune, and whatnot. So, I mean, Justin Fields, I think is the second best quarterback, but I wouldn't touch Mac Jones with a 20-foot pole if I was looking for a quarterback, in my opinion, if I'm a GM.
I mean, he's gonna come out here and just go full Eli Manning and just prove everyone wrong. I feel like got the dad bod. He's gonna come out looking goofy, just fucking slinging all over the place. This fourth pick, Tyler. You said you like this pick, if I'm not mistaken, or it just
I
makes
do.
sense.
It makes sense. This guy's the best. I mean, if I were them, I would probably go after defense. They need defense, a lot.
I mean,
But
they just paid Hayden Hurst last season, and you're gonna
that's
go out
true.
here
Yeah.
and have a number 4 overall pick and waste it on a tight end. Like, probably a safe pick. I'm sure Kyle Pitts is gonna
I
do
mean, if I
well in the
had to
NFL,
compare
but
Kyle Pitts to anybody in the NFL, it'd probably be Darren Waller, the best tight end in the league.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad pick by no means. I just think that there's better needs out there that they could go grab instead of Kyle Pitts.
How long you been waiting to bring Darren Waller's name back up on this show, Tyler?
It's been a while, dude. I've been watching the training videos. Oh,
Oh my god. Yeah, because what did the OTAs or something start? I think.
well, a lot of guys are back up in training because it's getting closer. Usually around draft time, they start training a little bit more. And you see
Gronk's Gronk's catching footballs from a helicopter.
Gronk is probably catching 2 Bud Lights at a time, getting his hand-eye coordination right.
Getting ready for the season. Okay. So Atlanta, who cares? Sorry, Cody. That's the Falcons. They're gonna do the Falcons. Another pick right
That
here.
is, if I had to say something, that's the most Falcons pick.
Right, just be safe and not
I,
worry
I wouldn't
about.
even call it safe. I would just call it reckless.
I mean, I don't think safe
Why?
and reckless
That's like-
are synonymous, but
They're not. I think that's like the Packers going after Jordan Love last year.
right. I wouldn't call that reckless. I would just call that. I don't know. I don't know
You
what I'd
could've
call it.
filled better-
Stupid.
Exactly. You could have filled better positions for your
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, I guess. Speaking of better positions and something that makes sense, looks like the Bengals are going to try to help out their number 1 draft pick, the number 1 overall draft pick from last year, Joe Burrow. Tyler, I don't know if I want to attempt pronouncing this guy's name, but we're going to go with Penei Sewell. I could have said Peony, but I think that I in there is giving it a little bit of an accent.
It's literally Penei Sewell.
Penei? Is it
Like penne pasta.
I was gonna say, isn't that a pasta? God damn. All right.
Now, if I'm the Bengals right here, I'm actually taking the guy that they have at number 6, Jamar Chase, just purely based off of the chemistry that Joe Burrow and him already established back in their LSU days. A viewer pointed out to me back when Joe Burrow won the national championship, who was the one that caught the ball? It wasn't Justin Jefferson, it was Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is a big name guy. Like I said, our last episode, I think he's the best wide receiver in this field by a landslide. So I think they should go with Jamar Chase. Granted, they do have a shitload of wide receivers. So, like you said, Penei Sewell is a safe choice. But if I'm going risky, I would go Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is more of a volatile kind of pick. It could be like, oh wow, that was genius, but at the same time, it could be terrible. I think if I'm the Bengals, I definitely go with Penei. Isn't that it?
It's just the way you say it. You're just so unsure.
I'm nervous every time I say it. I feel like I'm gonna fucking get canceled. Where's Siri? Siri, how do I pronounce this? I need to. Anyways, Mr. Sewell, we're gonna call him from Oregon. Is that worse?
Sounds like a high school English teacher.
I'm gonna mute you. I can't even get my point across. You're distracting me. I'm just trying to give my opinion on this pick. If I'm the Bengals, I 100,000% take the offensive lineman from Oregon. You're killing me, baby. You're killing me. I can't. I just spit on my monitor.
I don't even know why it's so funny.
I go with the pick that is here in front of me for the CBS Mock Draft. The lineman from Oregon, Peeny Penne. Now you got me all fucked up. God damn it. You need this pick, obviously. I can't. Be professional a little bit.
Who has the funniest name in this mock draft? Peeny Sewell.
You just said Peeny. Is it Peeny Panay? Oh my goodness. I'm moving on. I'm done. I'm not even gonna try.
That's a good idea.
Jamar Chase, number 6 for the Miami Dolphins. No Pitts, no problem. I don't know what that means.
No Kyle Pitts available.
Oh, gotcha. I don't know. This is Dolphins last year. They took Tua over. They took him over who? They took him over. Like Herbert, I think, right? They also took him over on the Eagles. I'm always having a brain fart. Jalen Hurts. I think they took him over Herbert as well. Not sure if that was a smart choice. I'm not sure if this is a smart choice either, Tyler. I mean, you saw they have like a bunch of average wide receivers that do well enough. Devontae Parker started playing well. I mean, Gesicki looked like an all-pro towards the end of that season. Definitely saved a lot of fantasy players' seasons. I feel like they gotta go to more of a safe pick. I don't even know if I can reference it, but much like the guy that they're saying for the Bengals, they need to protect Tua if they think that he is their franchise quarterback. What do you make of this pick?
No, I think you hit the nail right on the head.
I have a glare. I'm not sure where it's coming from.
You said exactly what I was going to say. I think Jamar Chase should be a Bengal. Granted, I forgot to mention they did just get rid of AJ Green.
Well, that's not what I was saying, but yeah.
Position isn't there anymore. So Jamar Chase makes a lot more sense for that Bengals spot. But protecting Tua is a big issue that they had last year. I think they have enough skill positions for Tua. I think getting a little bit of protection or even going the defensive route. We haven't even seen a defensive player off the board yet.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that's just because of a lack of prospect on the defensive side of the ball for this year's draft? Or, I mean, are they going back to kind of the old days where it's like quarterback? Because, I mean, the past few drafts, we saw offensive linemen, we saw Chase Young. I forget what the other guy is, but
we knew last year, 2 years ago, that this draft was going to be a quarterback-heavy draft. We're seeing that now. And you're also seeing a lot of teams that already have quarterbacks that are higher up here that need those skill positions or those linemen, those upfront guys.
Yeah. So going back to what we're talking about with the lineman, Rashawn Slater, they have him out of Northwestern, projected to go to the Lions. I mean, are the Lions even going to try this year, Tyler? They have Goff right now as their quarterback. I mean, Galladay's gone. They have, DeAndre Swift, a decent running back, but their whole defense is just in shambles. I mean, what do you do if you're the Lions? Do you try to get a guy, draft and develop? Do you trade back? Maybe try to get some more future picks? I mean, I just don't think they have much to play for this year.
I mean, the only team that should trade back to get future picks in the top 10 is the Falcons. The Falcons are the only team that I would project trading down to get more picks. I think this pick right here is a great pick for the Lions to protect Jared Goff, to protect Kerryon Johnson and whoever else they have at running back. I mean, they lost Galladay, so that hurts. I do think that if Jamar Chase falls back a little bit, one pick than what this mock draft says, I could see him also going to the Lions as well too, to kind of fill that Galladay position.
I mean, 6'2", 208. I'm not sure if he's filling in Galladay's cleats, if you will, but and then that being said, at the same time, I don't even think Jamar Chase is the best wide receiver in this draft class. I mean, I guess we'll wait till to get to that pick. But next up, we got J.C. Horn, cornerback for out of South Carolina. They have him projected to the Panthers. I guess okay. I don't know, B+ pick in my opinion. You know, they got Sam Darnold now. They have a pretty good offense. Obviously, when McCaffrey's healthy, they got a lot of receivers. Defensive side of the ball, this is just a smart pick in my opinion.
I just don't even think he's the best player in this position. So, I mean, I would give this more of like a C, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the same way a few years back when the Packers drafted Jair Alexander. Now, you know, in his after his second season, he's probably a top 5 corner in the league. So we'll see what happens there. He's definitely not the sexiest name off the board. Someone a little bit sexier as far as picks go. Trey Lance, North Dakota State.
What the fuck is this pick, by the way? This makes absolutely zero sense to me.
I don't know. I mean, what's his face?
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock started playing good ball at the end of last season. I'm not so sold that he's not the guy there. At the same time, Tyler, I mean, you look at Carson Wentz, he's played all right. He had a couple good years. We'll see what happens this year on a better team. But I just hate taking a quarterback from a D1 AA, whatever this is, school, Tyler. I mean, I know there's some diamond in the rough, D3 wide receivers, or, you know, from this conference, like, you know, skill position guys. But for me, if I'm taking a quarterback, he needs to be in a Power 5 conference. He has to have been, you know, playing on the big stage against the best competition. I don't like it. And especially, like you said, for this team, I don't think it makes sense.
Yeah, this is the pick in the mock draft that makes the least amount of sense to me. I think Trey Lance falls a little bit further back than this pick for sure. And honestly, if I'm the Falcons, I know I've been harping on the Falcons a lot, but if I'm the Falcons, I'm hoping this doesn't happen and he falls back even further to my second pick, or even drop back a little bit and go get him with gaining some capital.
Just fixing my cam real quick. Yeah. I mean, obviously, the guys over at CBS aren't the ones in the green room or the war room making those phone calls. What do you say? If you're John Elway, you want to believe Drew Lock is the future, but you can't trust it at this point. I mean, the guy's played, 2 seasons, and he's starting to show promise. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Even if he's not your guy, I don't think Trey Lance is either.
Well, this guy's a tall quarterback, and that's all John Elway goes after.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we saw all that worked out with Paxton Lynch, right?
Paxton Lynch. What was the other guy that played for Houston?
Yeah, Brock Osweiler.
Brock Osweiler, yeah.
Yeah. Come on, Elway. You're not going to get your next Peyton Manning again. So, Tyler, you were talking about cornerbacks, and you didn't think J.C. Horn was the best. Would you say Patrick Surtain the second is your favorite cornerback? Off the board? Yeah,
I would say this is my favorite cornerback defensively. I think this is a great pick by Dallas. They obviously need help in the secondary, especially against the quarterbacks this year in the NFC East. I mean, you're going up against a question mark in the Washington football team right now. But you got Jalen Hurts, who's a good guy that gets out of the pocket, and what's his face from the Giants is playing pretty well. Danny Dimes. So I think it's a good pick. And honestly, this is a old school Cowboys pick right here, going after the defense in the first round.
Yeah, no, I like the pick. I mean, last time I think they went this early with a pick in the secondary was it Byron Jones, right? That's their safety from UConn. And he's definitely paid off in the long run. Smart pick by the Cowboys. Hopefully, like they said, like I'm saying, they'll get Dak back off that injury. They still got a powerful offense. Remains to be seen what happens with Zeke Elliott, Tyler. But I like the pick. And going to their divisional counterpart here, like you said, Danny Dimes, he's projected to get a new weapon, Devontae Smith out of Alabama.
I love this pick.
I love it as well. I think he is indeed the best wide receiver in this draft class. Yes, they just weighed him, right? He's like 70 pounds, soaking wet, 6'1". But guess what? Have you seen pictures of Gronk and J.J. Watt in high school and even into college? I mean, this kid is only, what? He's probably 20, 21 years old. If they get him on a strict workout and, diet plan, sky's the limit for this guy. He's got what you can't teach, Tyler. He's got freak athletic nature, ability. Can run the deep route, great catching, great hands. Put a little weight on his bones, get some route running down. He's going to be a bona fide star.
Yeah, the biggest thing you're missing is his route running skills are comparable to AB. They're just out of this world, and I think he doesn't really even need to put on all that weight when you got a guy like Kenny Galladay on the opposite side. And let's not forget Sterling Shepard, who, is injury prone, but is also a great deep runner too, which then opens up the short game, which is what Devontae Smith is bread and butter is. I think if they get Devontae Smith this low to them, I think this is like a fucking golden egg that just landed in their hands from the sky.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's going to boost Danny Dimes' confidence a lot more. And let's not forget they have one of the best players in the NFL in their backfield in Saquon Barkley. So, definitely a great pick, and the Giants' offense would be fun to watch this year.
Yeah. So it seems to be that we are taking our time a little bit, Tyler, and I'm not sure what Dan's plans, if he plans on getting on right at 8. So I guess we'll try to expedite this a little bit. Jalen Waddle, I guess we'll go through, just give it a grade. I'd say B+.
I'll say A- because the wide receiver position at the Eagles is not great.
No, yeah, I like it, but I don't know if it's quite an A. For this pick, O-line helping out Christian Darrisaw.
I love how you said this pick now.
Well, I don't know. I was trying to, like I said, make this process go a little quicker so we can get into our teams, kind of dive into those picks a little more. Solid B, helping out Herbert. I'd say it's a good one.
Yeah, B+ for sure.
Just had to outdo me every time by one letter grade.
Let me hear you say this name.
Whitey Pay. Don't even tell me you know how to pronounce it.
I don't. I was gonna say Quiddy.
Is it a soft eye, hard eye? I don't know. I'm always more of a hard type of guy.
A TikTok of pronouncing names with AC Weezy.
Jesus. If they thought I was doing it on purpose, I might get canceled, but I just have no idea how to pronounce these names, so I apologize.
Well, the next one's
rusher.
one for you.
Yeah. So for this pick, Tyler, what do you got?
I'll give it a B-.
Okay.
I mean, he's the best position player on the edge, but
yeah. I mean, yes, solid B. I'd say just helping out a Vikings defense that's already solid. Like you said, Tyler, this one I should have no trouble pronouncing. Make Jonas from Alabama going to the Patriots. I don't like this pick.
I'm gonna say F.
Yeah,
if I could go lower than an F, I would. But
I'm going C-. I think Tyler and I are on the same page that we don't like this pick. F is a little harsh. I don't know.
I think Bill Belichick is a little bit smarter than taking Mac Jones. I think something's in the woodwork for him not to get Mac Jones, to get a different quarterback.
I wouldn't put it past him. The Sith Lord, as they call him, Mr. Belichick. He's always got something up his sleeve that's cut off, most likely. Greg Newsome, Northwestern. I was reading up on this guy. They said, like I said, everyone's got a different mock draft. He might fall to the Packers and he'd be a steal. Arizona, they just lost Patrick Peterson. B+.
I'll say B-. Definitely need a cornerback.
Okay, here you go, Tyler. I'll let you dive into this one a little bit. Do you think this is the direction they're going? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree? What do you think?
I like it. I think it's a safe pick. Would I do it? No. If you scroll down a little bit, there's a guy that they're projecting going to the Washington football team, Makai Parsons, out of my favorite school in Penn State. Sat out last year due to COVID. Didn't even play a single down. He is hands down the best linebacker in this draft, and I think he'll be a perennial all-star for years to come. If I'm the Raiders, we need someone that's going to be our linebacker for the next 10 years. I think we can always go after O lineman in free agency or even later in the draft.
So you want them to take a guy that hasn't played in a year? That's what you're saying?
I mean, that's like saying the fourth pick shouldn't be picked. Zach Wilson hasn't played in a year. He played one game. Makai Parsons played one less game than the fourth round pick. I think that's a little harsh. I think Parsons is the best defensive player in the draft, and I think the Raiders have an opportunity to take him. I think they should.
All right, yeah, completely unbiased opinion here from Tyler, talking about his favorite NFL team potentially drafting a player from his favorite college football team.
Look at the position rank, number 1 overall for linebackers, and the prospect rank is 8, yet he's fallen to 19th. I think the Raiders should go after him. There are mock drafts out there that are saying they should.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'd be a bad pick. I think there's a lot of question marks and blanks spots on the Raiders roster right now, Tyler.
If I will say one more thing, the Raiders did get rid of their pretty much whole offensive line, besides Colton Miller and Richie Incognito. So yes, grabbing a guy that's 6'6", 320 pounds is probably ideal. I'm just saying, if I was the GM, Mike Mayock, I would go after Makai Parsons.
All right, Mike Mayock, you heard it here first. Tyler, speaking for the whole fan base of Las Vegas, which I drove by, Tyler, I sent you a Snapchat video of the stadium.
So horny when I saw that.
Looks pretty good, I'm not going to lie.
It's probably the nicest stadium. I mean, like, look-wise from the exterior.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it looks like the fucking Death Star, right, from Star Wars, just all blacked out. So we'll go back pick right here, Tyler, number 18, second pick for the Dolphins in this first round. They got Najee Harris going. I like it. It's safe, decent. I think it'll be pretty good. I'm going to go with a B, solid B.
Yeah, I mean, they need to add some offense. They got the picks. Why not get the best running back in the draft?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Dolphins are just going by, I forget who he is, but they're just picking every Alabama player that they think is going to be good pretty much at this point. They got a quarterback, they got a running back potentially.
They got Jamar Chase at 6, who's Alabama, so it would just make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, Jamar Chase is LSU, excuse me.
LSU, yeah. I mean, shit, if they take any of the other guys, Waddle or Smith, they'd stick to their plan.
Alabama 2.0.
We're going back up here, Micah Parsons, Tyler, I can only imagine what you're going to give this because you're not expecting him to fall back that far.
I mean, if Washington gets them, they probably have the best defense in the NFL, essentially. So I think this is a great pick. It definitely bolsters their defense. They're obviously not going to go after a quarterback unless, Trey Lance or someone falls to them. But I think this guy is a generational player. Once in a generation, I think it's someone to go after him would be smart.
So what are you giving it? Letter grade?
A-.
Okay. I'm going to give this, if they stay at this position and pick a player who hasn't played football in a year, I'm going to give this a B- because they desperately need a quarterback. And if they don't trade up or try to make some kind of move, I think that doesn't make any sense.
That's like saying the next pick. This guy hasn't played in a whole year either because he stayed out due to COVID as well too. But he's the number 1 position rank. I think these guys that stayed out, these teams that are drafting him this late in the draft, I think they're winning. Honestly, you're going after guys that are known to be good. They are great players, not just flash in the pan type of player that won a national championship.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Caleb Farley, I don't know if he's related to Chris Farley, but that would definitely be a mark on his draft stock. I think we're going to keep scrolling down here.
Let's just go to the Packers pick. I want to see who they have the Packers taking.
Ronald Moore, wide receiver from Purdue. What's that?
Rondale Moore.
Oh,
You wish it was that easy.
Rondale. Who's Ronald Moore? He was like, that was a basketball player from Siena a while ago.
Yes.
Anyways, my brain is kind of mush right now. I'm still adjusting to the time zone. Tyler, wide receiver, going to the Packers, first round. Seems good, right? Which is why it's definitely not going to happen. Everything I've read on this guy is good. You know, they definitely need another backup or second option to Devontae. Like I said, it's too smart for the Packers to do this. They'll probably trade up and draft a left tackle, even though they have David Bakhtiari, the best in the league. So, I don't know. I mean, would I love for them to take Asante Samuel Jr.? 100%. Help out, like I said earlier, Jair Alexander, easily top 5 corner in the league. They brought Kevin King back. I'm not sold that he's going to start playing better just because they gave him some money and gave him another chance. Josh Jackson, you know, he's kind of more of a nickel corner type guy. I still think they go defense. I mean, they owe it to Aaron Rodgers to try to get one player that's going to help their roster immediately.
You know, one player would.
Who's that?
And I wouldn't be surprised if they traded up. Would be Makai Parsons or
Yeah.
No, Parsons would make the most sense actually because they need a linebacker more than anything.
That's their number one gap right now is middle linebacker. I mean, they lost Blake Martinez last year. They shuffled in Christian Kirksey. I forget who they had. Another first or second year guy. But yeah, I mean, if that happened, I would be ecstatic, Tyler. But like I said, will it happen? Probably not.
I'm excited though. Anytime the NFL is coming back on, I'm always happy. So I know we'll be talking about it a lot more next week. Draft reactions. Are we happy with how our team drafted?
Mm-hmm.
Most likely not. I will say my team effing sucks because they're not going to draft anybody I agree with, but that's neither here nor there. That might be a mutual thing of the No Look podcast co-hosts.
Yeah, I mean, something's going on with this connection we got because both of our teams just shit the bed when it comes to draft time. But yeah, next week should be a lot more interesting, Tyler.
Can you think of, in Packers history of your fandom, can you think of one draft that there was one pick that you were just like, why?
Besides last year, you mean, with Jordan Love?
I mean, it could be last year if there is another one.
I don't know. I can't think.
I mean, I have a few.
I mean, I wasn't. I forget what ended up happening, but they had like a 13 pick and they traded to the Saints, and they ended up getting Marcus Davenport, who's a pretty good player right now, and they definitely could have used him, saved some money on, instead of bringing both the Smith bros, I guess if you want to call them, and paying them, they could have had Davenport. And they could have maybe got another wide receiver in free agency or a middle linebacker, Tyler. I thought that was an interesting move, but...
Well, besides Jamarcus Russell, for me, I would have to say Michael Hayward-Bay, or Darius Hayward-Bay, excuse me. I've never understood why. I do know why they picked him, because he could run like a 4.2 40, which was out of this mind, but he was like a top 25 wide receiver prospect. Going at like 4th overall made absolutely no sense to me. I think I was like 12 years old, and I think that was like one of the first times I swore consecutively over and over again. Al Davis, of course.
Al Davis. We got Mountain Refugee passing on AP. Yeah. I mean, if we're going to talk about picks that we should have, our team should have picked, I mean, there's a whole boatload. Farouk is saying Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy.
That was terrible.
But I mean, he made a Pro Bowl, right? They went to the playoffs. You can't say he was a complete flop. Like I wouldn't put Eddie Lacy on the level of Jamarcus Russell or Darius Hayward-Bay, which Tyler might add. Yeah, Raiders have had some pretty egregious first round picks, but in retrospect, the Packers just trade out of the first round. They don't even pick at all. So I'm not sure which is worse.
I mean,
I don't know.
The Packers have at least been to numerous Super Bowls since then. So,
right. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. As always, the No Look podcast is is itching for football season to come back. So it is top of the hour. Different schedule tonight, Tyler. With me being on the West Coast now, we're going to try a late night Monday night gaming. So with that being said, any moment now after Tyler and I shut off the No Look podcast, it's going to be a 3-hour episode of Danny NASCAR. And then,
could you imagine playing NASCAR for 3 hours? I don't think I could.
I told him because we were texting, and I'm like, he's like, yeah, so we'll do 8 p.m. your time, and I'm like, you're doing 3 hours? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right, man. If that's what you're trying to do, that's all you. I don't mind. So
I mean, I don't mind keep talking, so it kind of shuts down his time. Oh, come on! I'm gonna get a text in like 5 minutes. It's like, get off the stream. I'm trying to go.
Yeah. I mean, shit, now we're getting the most engagement all night. We got Mr. Wet saying Hayward Bay had a decent career, little resurgence in Pittsburgh. Decent is.
I mean, he was good. I mean, he also had a quarterback in Big Ben. But if there is any lit, intro song to any of the streaming on Insane Games TV, it has to be Dan's. And it's just pure comedy. Listening to him sing a racing song.
That he has that right now for his intro for Danny NASCAR. I've never heard the full version of it. I've only heard a snippet, so I'm gonna have to tune in.
It's not copyright infringement, so it's great. I think, maybe we should sing our own.
Come up, I mean, shit, we can come up with a little rap or something.
I mean, why not just rendition "Made You Look" by Nas?
Can you do that? Can you just
sure
do your own rendition? So. He didn't make his own song up. He just kind of redid one. Because I was gonna say, damn, Dan might be on the same level as Joe Exotic. It's like you don't want to use someone else's music, you just make your own. And I was about to give him a lot of props there, but I mean, still putting yourself out there and singing a song for people to hear. That's definitely putting yourself out there.
I mean, he's in comparison to T-Pain when it comes to Twitch. Guy sings freestyles and for his Twitch family. Dan does that for Danny NASCAR, so you got to give him some props when it's due.
Yeah. All right, we got some NASCAR fans in the chat. Danny NASCAR coming up right away, and then like I said at 11 EST, I'll be back for Monday Night Gaming. Until next time, Tyler. Next week, we're gonna have a good episode. Stay tuned.
Love you.